With the growing shift towards electric vehicles, holiday park operators around the country are starting to ask important questions about how to respond. This research project looks at what holiday parks need to consider to ensure they are EV ready in a strategic and integrated way. Windsor Gardens Holiday Park on the outskirts of Adelaide was chosen as an ideal case study site for the Strategic Electric Vehicle Integration Research Project, or SEVI for short, supported by Race for 2030. Today I will be talking to researchers, the holiday park operator and energy experts to ask what they learned about the planning, new technologies and practicalities to consider when preparing for a transition to EVs at holiday parks. Dr. Kiralee Rowe is a researcher from Adelaide University who led the SEVI Holiday Parks research team. What did the research set out to achieve?
We're helping holiday parks by starting with that early, low upfront capital cost guidance. The biggest challenge for them was the unknown. They didn't know what EVs required and they didn't know what to expect. Holiday parks in general really need to look at an integrated solution around electricity use.
Were there any surprises in terms of industry feedback to shape the research?
What we found through the research that we did was that guests weren't necessarily interested in needing a fast charger for their vehicle, and that's because they tended to stay on site for a few days and they were happy to have their car trickle charge or perhaps to use a 7 kilowatt charger. Holiday parks are going to be asking themselves two main questions. How can I strategically integrate EV charging into my park, and how can I roll that out feasibly?
Stephen Edwards is the CEO of the Edwards Group, the operators of the Eco Holiday Parks in South Australia, and he has long championed a strong sustainability business approach for their parks. Stephen, how has energy use changed within your parks?
Look, over time, we're seeing an increase across all of our parks in terms of electrical consumption. We're also seeing a change in the way that electricity is consumed within our parks. But as we have more electric vehicles come out with bigger battery capacities and longer ranges, that's only going to increase.
What initiatives have you put in place at this park when it comes to renewable energy and preparing for greater uptake of EVs?
Firstly, we've had solar panels installed across the park. We've also had the PowerHive battery solution installed on most of our cabins. Moving into our next phase, which is automating more of our cabins and electrical consumption to try to smooth out some of those peaks and troughs within our electrical consumption across our park.
And how does that support the charging of EVs?
We want to generate as much power as we can internally. So that's by use of the solar panels, the amount of storage. And with our metering automation, we need to be able to phase our power up and down for when we have access to good power to make it not only affordable, but also economical in terms of the infrastructure availability.
What specific challenges do holiday parks face when it comes to infrastructure constraints and also the business case for upgrades?
The first and probably our biggest constraint is with the external infrastructure, getting enough power from the grid within our parks. There's going to be more and more EVs on the road in the future, and so we have to be prepared for that. And caravan parks really are a great location to have EV charging stations. How do we transition slowly to this, but also not so slowly that we're too late and we miss the mark?
Associate Professor Charlie Hargroves is co-chief investigator of the SEVI project, which involves over 30 industry, university and government partners from around the country. What makes holiday parks like this one of interest when it comes to researching the energy transition and the role of EVs in that?
As researchers, we really couldn't ask for more. As you look around the park, there's so many different types of energy users, from caravans and buildings and increasingly electric vehicles. It gives us an opportunity to explore different types of new technologies, such as renewable energy generation and battery storage, but increasingly how we orchestrate and manage those loads across a microgrid, which will be really valuable not only for holiday parks, but for suburbs and cities and towns as we move forward into this energy transition.
And what are the future opportunities, particularly in areas in the regions where infrastructure is constrained?
As the uptake of EVs starts to come up, it's really going to put pressure on regions. And being able to incorporate things like community scale energy storage on the site introduces the potential to provide services to the network around it in the town and the region, which is a mutual benefit.
Okay, so we know it's coming. More EVs on the road, lots of cars on holidays needing charging. There's a whole range of things to consider about energy on site. But where should a park operator start? Professor Peter Pudney is from Adelaide University and looked at just that during the research project. How did you go about determining what industry needs to know in this area?
We went to the SA Parks industry group and they weren't quite sure what to do when the EVs were going to arrive. They knew they were coming. So a lot of them have electricity infrastructure that's getting on in age. If EVs are going to come in and start drawing lots of power, then they're going to start blowing circuit breakers and so on.
What are some of the practical steps that park operators can take?
Yeah, well, in the first instance, recognise that people are going to want to charge their EVs and that they can charge from standard 10 amp or 15 amp outlets. Encourage them to charge during the day or overnight rather than during peak times. And for those parks that had solar, there was really a lot of excess electricity during the middle of the day that would be ideal for charging electric vehicles.
What are some of the challenges or limitations that park operators are facing?
Most park operators are just selling a site and they're not metering data. By setting sensible prices and sensible rules about when you can use electricity, you can push electricity use to times when it really is beneficial for both the park and the EV users.
What are the ramifications of park operators who don't plan for the transition to greater use of EVs?
Well, people are going to find ways to charge their EVs on parks, and if it's resisted by park operators, then the word will get out and people with EVs are going to go somewhere else.
To understand the sorts of new technologies needed, we are visiting the workshop of PowerTech Energy in Mawson Lakes, who have been working closely with Eco Holiday Parks to prepare them for an EV future. Anup Raghavan is the PowerTech Energy Park Manager.
A lot of holiday parks have been built for basic needs. Today it's different. We have a motorhome that consumes as much as power as your normal home does. The challenge we face is the existing infrastructure is out of date and the cost to upgrade prohibits the cost savings you get from renewables.
How will these challenges overcome at Windsor Gardens?
We installed a centralized grid-connected solar with the maximum roof space to bring in as much as renewable as possible. The next opportunity was to look for cabins which had adequate roof space, but the problem is they're located quite a distance away from the main switchboard. So we created centralized off-grid type batteries on each cabin, which had this hybrid model where it can switch on to grid power when the battery and the solar runs off. Then we started adding monitoring devices so we can control high energy consuming devices and we can turn it off if the need arises.
How important is it to have a nuanced approach to the particular constraints at a certain site?
When it comes to electrical infrastructure, you also kind of need to design what your pathway of the future looks like, because the electrical switchboards on a lot of parks could be outdated. So that is where the construction of these parks needs more consultation with people like us in the industry, so that you're not just putting in hardware that's obsolete straight away. At Windsor Gardens, there was a choice of putting in a large battery in, a 1 megawatt hour battery, but we kind of know now that that would have been a wrong strategy because the park infrastructure is not capable of supporting that. We ended up with smaller batteries because this is practical and it can be accomplished with the site's infrastructure. What we have accomplished is a pathway to repeat this process across not only the Windsor Gardens, but across the industry as well.
Explain the metering arrangement at Windsor Gardens.
So at Windsor Gardens, we have a wireless solution. We are measuring energy and water across the site. In this dashboard, we've got the data from all the cabins integrated into one site. You get to see all the critical information you need.
So how do you drill down to find out where there's a problem, for example?
So you can actually go into a component like the energy meter. You can look at voltage, you can look at current, you can look at power factor. The devil is in the detail.
What you've explained is very technical. Is this accessible to the average park operator?
It is accessible, but do they need to use it? Yes and no. If you want to implement a pathway to electrification, you got to have relevant knowledge and infrastructure and the data to be able to plan forward.
The learnings from this project show that for holiday parks to get EV ready, they need to make gradual changes that provide them with more options moving forward and less immediate capital expense. This future-focused thinking will help navigate the renewable energy and EV transition, meeting the future needs of holidaymakers and travellers.
The importance of EV charging infrastructure in regional Australia, it's quite critical because it enables that long distance travelling. Holiday parks are a great place for EV charging points to be because it's very convenient for people to stay there and charge their EVs. Guests may actually expect that amenity to be at holiday parks.
It's not too difficult for park operators to accommodate EV owners, so it makes sense for them to plan to do that and start doing that from now.
You can find out more about EV integration at holiday parks and take a closer look at the other case studies in the SEVI research project by visiting racefor2030.com.au.